Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. From the beginning, I will tell you that every saw frame I will be showing to you will do the job, and the result will be the same. I think it's the most trendy ones, and I will talk more specifically about them. I get a lot of that question from you, which one is better? I will be talking more about them, and maybe you will come to that conclusion yourself. When I'm talking about saw frames, I have to start from the beginning part. Beginning part is me 5 years ago and coming to a few classes of jewelry making with all of the tools, and I get the chance to feel it, just to understand where I'm getting myself into. But after three classes, I skipped that. I even put myself in other ones, but still, I didn't like it. So the first day, I got that basic and simple saw frame in my hands, and that saw blade was breaking and breaking and breaking. And I understood that it is a struggle for me. From that point, I wanted to buy myself a really good saw frame because I wanted to make jewelry so bad that I didn't want to get that saw frame in a way, actually, because you get frustrated when you're making something and when you're teaching yourself. It's a lot. So to have specific and qualified tools, it's like, I can't even tell you how important that is. Everybody's putting that idea like having basic saw frame, it will be the best for you, right? You don't want to splurge. You just want to get going, get started, and that's okay. But talking from my experience, I'm like a person. I'm not really a calm one. I'm energetic. I'm pretty strong too. I kind of almost broke a rolling mill in that school. I will tell you that story one time. But what I'm trying to say that when you're coming to work with a saw frame, you have to be relaxed, patient, calm. I didn't have that much of it back in the days. When we're talking about sawing, your shape with the body and your action has to be good. That is more complicated to learn everything yourself because nobody's teaching you there. You can look videos online, you can try to make it yourself, but you will never be the person who could stand and look how you're doing things. Say that maybe you could, lift that saw frame a bit to have straighter sawing or something like that. Because when you're putting your saw frame on the metal, your hand, which is moving, has to be relaxed. But we're so used to force everything with the hand we're working with, it's not easy to let it go. So you have to think about what you're doing on the metal. I will talk more about sawing maybe in other video, but I have to talk a bit about it just you to have understanding why it is important to have some kind of saw frame. And the saw frame I got first was this one. This is a new concept saw frame, and it has adjustable tension here. When I was having that simple saw frame in my hands and I understood the struggle I'm getting from it, it was just because I couldn't understand how to make a tension on my saw blade, and it's the most important thing in sawing. This saw frame kind of does that for you. Of course, you have to play a bit with this part just to have that tension and that exact control of the blade you want. You have to hear that sound. We know the sound, right? This one is fixed frame. What I mean by that, you can't go and push it on your table because it's not moving, and from that you're not getting your tension going. So the frame is always the same and you're working with this part. When we're talking about more detailed sawing, you can like push it back, take it out, and go to another hole. It's really easy. You have just few turns and you're good to go. You still have a perfect tension, which you made, and That was important for me. We have to talk about struggles with this one. The metal clogs sometimes those parts where you want to put your saw blade in. This guy sometimes is bad for thin saw blades, so it can flip out from this because these parts you're like screwing in and it can get out because it doesn't have that much of space where you're pushing your blade in. More thicker ones, I don't have a problem. I have a problem just when I want to saw really small detailed work, when I need maybe a 5-0 kind of blades, which is really thin one. So for that, I'm using different saw frame, but working with this one is really comfortable because it's always lightweight in your hand. It's really quick on changing the blade, releasing the tension, because I never leave my saw blades on a tension. So this part is really awesome for that because you just take it out and you have that really loose saw blade in. You have what you're paying for. More adjustable you want, you will pay for that. More lightweight you want, you will pay for that too. So keep that in mind because maybe you don't need that much in that saw frame. And a second one is a greenlion saw frame. I love this saw frame. I haven't had any struggle with it. But keep that in mind, I'm working with this just a year and it's like the last year of 5 years. So I have experience, and to make a tension for me, it's really easy. You can push it on a table just a little bit with your chest, not too much, and just create that tension. Now it's sounding like a high note, which you want from your tension. You have to know what you are making or willing to do with your saw frame, because if you're working on really big sheets, you have to think about that you have to have wider capacity on that sawing. The last one, brightest of them all, looks really cool. When I saw this one on an advert, I was like, I need to have it. I'm a tool junkie. I love all my tools. I love the colors. I love practical aspect of it. What I like the most about this one, it has really big space to put your saw blade in. You can create tension either with your hand, with your table, leaning with a hand on, or just the chest. It's how you prefer. I do it in all the way. Now I want to talk more about the frames they're made of and the handles. All these saw frames are made in USA and they have different handles. We have wooden one, we have aluminum one, and we have hard rubber one. Both of these saw frames are made of aluminum. Just the handle of the haymaker saw is aluminum too, but it's way heavier than New Concept's one. You can feel it in your hand. It's way heavier. Even the handle feels way heavier. These two has the same capacity of depth while you're cutting. And the greenlion saw frame, it's a bit narrow, and smaller cutting depth makes you in control more. Cheapest one, priciest one, and this one would be in the middle. So maybe we have to change it like that. Just two of those have ability to use wet and dry paper instead of the saw blades, which helps you to smooth out your already cut piece. Sometimes it works like a miracle, really. Saw frame won't get the job done, and that depends on the blades actually. It has to be good quality ones because cheap ones will break on you and you won't get that smooth work that you want. Of course, qualified saw blades, it's not enough. You have to use something to smooth out your cutting. So maybe beeswax or blade butter, which I really enjoy to use. It looks like this, so it even has a cool color. All right, we have to sum up everything, right? You know, I saw a lot of videos about saw frames and everybody has their opinion and their experience on the saw frame, and it usually depends what kind of works they do. If they have that detail cutting and sawing everything, and maybe they work just on making ring bands or maybe making small cuts in their pieces. So that really depends on your needs and preferences. How comfortable you want your saw frame would be, how handles should be, because even on these three, we have three different handles. If I would be choosing a handle, I would be choosing this one because it has that grip and it's really comfortable in your hands, but I have a long hand. Maybe for me to have that thicker handle is more comfortable. Maybe for you, if you have smaller one, it's more comfortable to have narrow handle in your hand. So it's really a preference how you would use your tool. All these three are really awesome. I love all of them. I work with all of them, and I hope this information was useful for you and maybe leads you to understand what kind of saw frame you really need. So I hope you like it, and I will see you in my next one.